This is what happened to the 2020 NFL draft. All right, let's get into this video. What happened to the 2020 NFL draft, the top 10 from this draft?
Stacked drafts in recent memory, and every team inside the top 10 had a chance to land a huge talent. But 5 years later, some of the guys are out of the league, just like in any draft class. Others are barely clinging on to backup roles, and some of the most dominant players from this class were completely overlooked. This is what happened to the top 10 picks from 2020, one of the most insane drafts ever. When they chose Las Vegas for the 2020 NFL Draft, it was supposed to be a huge show. Instead, the commissioner was announcing picks from his basement, Jerry Jones was drafting from a $250 million yacht, and Bill Belichick's dog was trying to save the team from imploding without Tom Brady. The 2019 season was the year we had tank for Tua, and for a while it was a race to...
I don't know what people seen in Tua. I never thought he was the best quarterback. Joe Burrow came up and I thought he was the best quarterback, but I don't know why people thought Tua was a talent to tank for. I think people got so high. I think they got so high of him coming in and throwing that touchdown to Devontae Smith that they thought he was the fucking savior. That's the issue. Is like they thought he was the fucking savior. He wasn't.
With the Dolphins going 0-7 to start the year, the Bengals going 0-11. In the end, the Bengals ended up locking up that first pick, but by that point, Tua had suffered a hip injury, and some guy named Joe Burrow dropped possibly the best college season of all time.
But very effective. Now Burrow going to launch downfield for Chase. Who's got it? Touchdown, LSU.
Also, let's end this debate right here. There's two differences between the best quarterback and the best season for a quarterback. I think Joe Burrow had the best quarterback season I've probably ever seen in my life. And that was granted, it's surrounded by his team. He had two. I think both of these motherfuckers will be top 15 wide receivers all time by the time it's said and done. And then I think Cam Newton had the best season the quarterback could have. He was that nigga that carried a team full of no fucking bodies to a championship. That's how I feel about that.
National championship.
Joe Burrow of LSU, kind of the consensus #1 overall pick. Above average Joe, as I like to call him, but above average might not even give this guy justice because he's been spectacular.
What Cam did was crazy, yes, for sure. But I think Joe Burrow had the best statistic season for a. If you take everything out of it, did they retire his jersey? They should have retired his jersey. I'm pretty sure they did. Because I don't think Deuce Knight, he's wearing like number 9. And I know he wanted to wear number 2, but he can't. But Joe Burrow for if we didn't look at anything but numbers, Joe Burrow had one of the best seasons ever. Going through the difficulty of who he played and all that shit, Joe Burrow had the best season ever. I think Cam was the best quarterback ever.
He had 5,671 yards, 60 touchdowns, and just 6 interceptions in 2019. Like somebody playing Madden on rookie mode. He crushed the Heisman competition against studs like Jalen Hurts and Justin Fields, making him the obvious top pick heading into the draft. Burrow started his NFL career with some bright spots. He lit up Cleveland twice, once in week 2 with 316 yards. I don't think
that number 2 should ever be worn again.
In week 7 with 406 yards, 3 passing touchdowns, and 1 rushing touchdown. But winning was tough. He went 2-6-1 as a starter before blowing out his knee against Washington. A lot of quarterbacks would never be the same after that, but Burrow is built different.
Honestly, I think this nigga Burrow is tough as hell.
That's one of my favorite quarterbacks to watch play.
I was afraid. I was very, very afraid that Joe Burrow was a system quarterback at LSU. Even though some of the plays he made were insane, like all that shit, but I did think Joe Burrow was I was scared that he was. I didn't think he was, but I was scared that he was going to be. And that he's going to go into the league and just be an average ass nigga.
In 2021, he came back on fire, throwing for 4,611 yards and 34 touchdowns, winning Comeback Player of the Year. Even crazier, he took the Bengals all the way to the Super Bowl, losing to the Rams.
My take on that is, as good as that Miami defense was, I think that in today's game, if you took the way that they played back then and put it now, I don't think they're touching LSU. I don't think they're beating LSU. Like, they're not touching LSU. They had Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who was beast, simply off of Joe Burrow, Chase, and Jamar and Justin. I'm sorry, they're not touching that LSU team. That LSU team was smacking the fuck out of anybody who stepped in front of them. I'm sorry, you could not keep up. Even if you're not stopping them on 2 consecutive drives, you're not going to do it. Clemson went up by 10 and then got fucking eviscerated after that. Because they were more physical back then. But I'm sorry. There's no way. Every team they faced, they didn't have a Jamar Chase and they didn't have a Justin Jefferson on said teams. They did not. They didn't have two. Honestly, if you look what their careers are now, even back then, they still, none of them niggas was what Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson was. I'm sorry. I think the talent is just too great now. LSU had, I think, one close game within 10 points. And I think that was like, they only trailed one time double digits. And that was in Clemson game. That was the only time they trailed by double digits, bro.
In a really tight game.
They drafted,
been in that
they drafted Joe
conversation,
number 1 overall in 2020, and then they drafted Chase number 5 overall the next year.
Allen and Lamar already are taking up 3 of those spots. The dude is ice cold in the pocket and can scramble when he really needs to. His 2024 season was also insanely good. He led the league with 4,918 yards and 43 touchdowns. For 3 straight weeks against the Raiders, Ravens, and Chargers, he was untouchable. 12 touchdown passes.
That's because the Bengals, he went down with an injury. The Bengals wasn't really good. They had T. Higgins, but they weren't that great. They were decent, but they weren't that great. And then that following year, they had a bad enough record to where they had a top 5 pick, where they were going to pick between Penei Sewell and Jamar Chase, and they chose Jamar Chase.
If Cincinnati had any defense at all, he probably would have won MVP. When Peyton Manning puts you as the 2nd best quarterback in football right now behind Patrick Mahomes, you know you're doing something right. Oh, and did you guys know that the guy owns a freaking Batmobile? If anybody's going to pull that off...
How the fuck do you own a Batmobile?
But if you want to talk about superhero expectations,
I thought this
Chase
man was
Young came into the NFL
so
with
good,
crazy
bro.
hype. At Ohio State, the guy was a nightmare for offenses. He had 30.5 sacks
Joe would
in
be
3
insane.
years.
If Joe had a proper defense, even in the Super Bowl, bro, even in the Super Bowl, if he had a tad bit better defense, I think they're winning that Super Bowl. And that holding call in the Super Bowl, where they said that Hogan held on to their savior, Cooper Kupp, that was not a holding call. That was not a holding call at all, and I remember that vividly. I remember watching that replay like 50 times. That shit was not a holding call. They would have won that. They would have won that Super Bowl, and that would have been the craziest fucking turnaround for a franchise in history. Because you draft the quarterback number 1 next year, you draft the receiver number 5, and then y'all go and win a Super Bowl. Getting to the Super Bowl itself was big enough in itself.
With a monster
I don't think it
final
was.
season
I don't think
where
it
he
was a
piled
fluke
up
either.
16.5 sacks and
I don't think it was a
21
fluke.
tackles for a loss. He tore through college football, grabbing All-American honors and the Chuck Bednarik Award as the best defensive player in the country. Washington took him 2nd overall, and wow, did that pick look smart right away. Young's rookie year gave them everything they wanted and more. He put
I feel
up
like this nigga
7.5
lost
sacks,
his
4 pass deflections, 4 forced
I feel like he
fumbles,
lost
and
his
even
hunger for the
recovered
game.
1 for a
I feel like he
touchdown.
lost his love.
He was Defensive Rookie of the Year, earned a Pro Bowl nod, and it really looked like Washington had their defensive star for the future.
I just feel like, because I feel like a fall off like this, I don't feel like it just comes out of nowhere. I understand he had an ACL injury. I don't feel like it comes out of nowhere. I firmly believe that this man just lost his love for the game because you can see it in his efforts. He got his money. And he was like, fuck it. I got my number 2 money. That's like 20 million, 30 million guaranteed. I feel like he just lost his love for the game.
Look out. Fake the handoff and hello, Chase Young.
Then
That's just personally how I
happened.
feel. Yeah,
And
he
with
still
it
play.
came
I
the
think
moment that
he's. I
flipped
think he
his
just
career.
signed with
One
somebody.
bad step, one wrong twist, and suddenly everything changes. Young sat out most of 2022 as
He was
well,
with
and
the
that
49ers.
explosive
I think
player
he's still
who
with the
scared
Saints now.
quarterbacks as a
Yeah, he's with the
rookie
Saints right
just
now.
never came back all the way.
I think he just got a
Midway through
crazy
the
contract, too.
2023 season, Washington had enough, shipping him to San Francisco. In 2024, he wound up with the Saints, playing in every game but not starting one time. He did get 5.5 sacks, okay numbers, but it's obvious that he's nowhere near close to the dominating force that he used to be. The crazy thing is that he's only 25 years old. He should be hitting his prime right now,
Like,
not bouncing.
that's one of the crazy things. He's only 25, bro. He's younger than us, and he's been bounced around the league. And I feel like he was supposed to have a fucking. You talking about Sean Oakman? He went to Baylor. I feel like Chase Young was supposed to have a J.J. Watt, T.J. Watt, the Bosa brothers type of career. I feel like that's the type of career he was supposed to have. But I hate that it didn't pan out for him.
Teams.
I was
that
rooting for
explosion
him.
that made him special in college and as a rookie just is not the same since the injury.
This was another
The Lions
crazy
grabbed Jeff
bust.
Okudah,
I'm sorry,
third
this
overall,
nigga is
with
a
dreams of
bust.
finally having that shutdown quarterback.
He's only a bust, bro.
His final season in college was legit. All-American with 3 interceptions, 35 tackles, and 9 pass breakups. Detroit made him the highest drafted cornerback since 1997, and he had that perfect blend of size and speed, and the hype
This nigga
it
was
off
so
the charts.
tough,
Okuda's
dog.
just played lights out football pretty much every time he's stepped on a football field since he got to Ohio State.
Like he
But
was,
his rookie
they
year
said he
gave us
was the
some
best
early
wide
warning
receiver.
signs.
I mean,
Okudah only
Ohio
played
State
in 9
cornerback
games,
ever.
fighting through injuries while putting up 47 tackles, just 1 interception, and 2 pass breakups.
He was supposed to be the
not the
fucking
worst
truth,
numbers
bro.
in the world, but definitely not what you're looking for from the 3rd pick in the
He was
draft.
supposed to be the
Year
truth.
2 is where things really went sideways, though.
He was
In his
dealing
first
with
game of
injuries.
2021, Okudah tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
About the worst possible injury for a guy whose job depends on quick cuts and explosive movements. He did manage a comeback.
Injuries, and I just feel like
2020.
he didn't pan out. Like, you know how some niggas just don't pan out? They just don't learn, or they're just not good enough for the NFL, the top of the line motherfuckers. I feel like that's just what happened. Injuries on top of that.
With his
Like, he was
best
good in
pro
college, but he
season,
wasn't
73 tackles, an interception,
NFL
and 7
good.
pass breakups. But even then, you were watching him play and thought, you know, this isn't a number 3 pick we're looking at here.
Yeah.
The Lions finally pulled the
Number
plug,
3
and
pick
since
is, I
then,
don't think he
Okudah has
was
been bouncing around.
number 3 worthy.
Atlanta in 2023, then Houston in 2024, where he barely saw the field, playing just 6 games with almost nothing to show for it. Cornerback might be the hardest position to jump from college to the pros. Even the great college cornerbacks often look lost against NFL receivers and dealing with the complex coverages. Throw in those major injuries, and it's pretty clear why Okudah hasn't panned out. Now we're left wondering if he can somehow save his career somewhere, or he'll just be another name on that long list of cornerbacks who were supposed to be stars in the NFL but never panned out.
Andrew Thomas.
Some guys struggle to handle NFL competition,
I
and
thought this
other
was a
guys
tackle.
can't
Yeah.
seem to stay
Was he?
healthy.
Ain't Andrew Thomas a tackle?
definitely falls into that
Yeah.
second group. After crushing it for 3 years at Georgia and earning All-American honors in 2019,
Just big as fuck,
Giants
bro.
grabbed Thomas 4th
Just big
overall
as
to
hell,
protect
bro.
Daniel Jones. And when he's actually on the field, this dude delivers. His rookie year showed plenty of promise, starting 15 of the 16 games, and the Giants clearly liked what they saw. By 2021, Thomas was getting better and better as a pass blocker, but injuries cut his season to just 13 games. Then came 2022, his breakout year. A full 16-game season where he earned second-team All-Pro honors. That year, Thomas proved that he belonged among the top left tackles in football, finally looking like that cornerstone the Giants thought they were getting at pick number 4. But since then, man, the
Damn.
injuries, they just keep coming. He only played 10 games in 2023 and 6 games in 2024. His latest problem, a Lisfranc foot injury. Which is bad news for a big guy like Thomas.
I really be feeling bad.
It's the kind of injury that has a nasty history of slowing guys down.
I really be feeling bad for niggas who just have injury issues, man. Injury issues be sucking when they know they have
holding down that left side,
could have a good career.
Just a little bit better.
It really fucking sucks.
Take him out of the equation and suddenly everything falls apart. The talent with this guy
I be
is
really wanting niggas
there.
to be good, bro.
When he's healthy, Thomas is absolutely
injuries really
one of
suck.
the
I
best
wish this shit was like Madden. You just turn off the injuries.
Football, but he has missed chunks of time in 3 of his first 5 seasons. And they do always say your best ability is your availability. And as good as he is, you just can't rely on that so far. Tua got the call at number 5, going to the Dolphins, who have basically been desperate for a legitimate quarterback since Dan Marino retired. They did have that 1 year with Pennington, and then they had Ryan Tannehill for a little bit, who was all right, but they've never had that true franchise guy. At Alabama, Tua looked every bit of that guy.
From St. Louis High School in Honolulu, it's Tua Tagovailoa. You'll just have to get used to saying his name. You may say it quite a bit.
Tua, the 5-star, most gifted high school passer Trent Dilfer's ever seen.
Tagovailoa fires to the end zone. Touchdown!
Left-handed QBs just don't pan out, bro.
In 2018, he had 3,966 yards, 43 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions, and he came in second for the Heisman behind only Kyler Murray. He was crushing it again in 2019 until his injury again.
He's injury prone, and I just don't see him as a top 5 pick. I see him as a tier 2 quarterback. Just respectfully, I see him as a tier 2 quarterback. Is he talented? Yes. But he's always been tier 2 quarterback talented to me.
Against Ole Miss.
Comes out throwing. On the run. Pressure from behind. And that's where Nick Saban is thinking, where's Mac Jones?
Which basically ended any hope he had of being the first overall pick, especially when you look at how well Burrow played that year. In the pros, his rookie year wasn't too bad.
Yeah, that nigga had that shit locked.
14 yards, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions in
Joe
10
Burrow
games,
wasn't losing that shit.
with a decent 87.1 passer rating. The problem, this offense was built for Ryan Fitzpatrick, not Tua. Year 2 was even weirder. Miami decided that 2 offensive coordinators were better than 1.
What?
Spoiler alert, they were not. Then 2022 happened. New head coach Mike McDaniel designed an offense.
The left-handed quarterbacks, it just feel like it'll never work.
It worked.
It sucks, but I feel like it'll never work.
He threw for 3,548 yards with 25 touchdowns and just 8 interceptions. He led the NFL in touchdown percentage and passer rating at 105.5, and he's kept it up. In 2023, he led the league with 4,624 passing yards and 29 touchdowns to 14 interceptions. Last year, of course, he did miss a ton of time, but his 72.9% completion rate was the highest in the league, and without him at quarterback, the Dolphins
should have stayed with number 3.
Tua's special, man. He's special. He's a franchise guy. He's an elite quarterback. He's young. He hasn't even.
I do think he's good, but I don't think he could ever reach being like a top 5 quarterback.
When Tua's on the field, he's clearly the best quarterback in Miami since Marino hung up the cleats. But those concussions, man, every time he takes a hit, everybody holds their breath. Some former players and analysts have flat out said that he should retire before things get even worse.
I definitely think that he should retire. For his safety, his health, I think he should retire because this nigga does not know how to protect himself. Mind you, some of those where he's getting slammed down like that, he can't do nothing about it. But then he went back. I think it was against the Chiefs or something like that. And he tried to run somebody over for a first down. Gang, you were just like this in the game, bro. You should not be going head up with nobody.
Starting with you, should
that was insane, bro. It was dumb.
A heavy question I just asked you. We all had to make that decision up here, which is what I love about this show. We all had to make that decision, so I don't take your words lightly. Should Tua consider retiring?
Yes.
Then we have his playoff performances. Against average defenses, Tua looks like a superstar, elite level talent. Then against the really good defenses in the big games and the games in the cold, not so much.
To be fair, I think a lot of that game.
Can Tua stay healthy?
I think that game was play
step up when
calling
it
too.
matters the most.
I feel like the whole team was just really
contender.
bad.
The 2025 season is going to be very interesting.
I really feel like the whole team just played bad that game. This dude, I feel like he's a stat merchant. Justin Herbert is a stat merchant for me. Does he have a great arm? Yes, but I don't feel like he's a top 5, top 6 quarterback like everybody's saying. I think Jalen Hurts is better than him. Does he have the talent to be a top 5? Yeah, but I don't think he has what it takes, bro.
Talk about another quarterback dealing with sky-high expectations. After 4 years at Oregon, where he put up over 3,000 yards in both of his final 2 seasons, Herbert joined the Chargers at pick 6, and what happened next was incredible. Herbert had one of the best rookie quarterback seasons ever, throwing for 4,336 yards,
I don't think
31 touchdowns, and only 10 interceptions.
I don't think he is.
Not surprising at all that he won Offensive Rookie of the Year. Year 2 was somehow even more ridiculous. Herbert threw for over 5,000 yards with 38 touchdowns.
No, he's definitely not better than Matthew. Matthew
is. At this point in time, everybody thought we
even
were
though Matthew was down there, I
think
think
passers in the
Matthew
league.
is still one of the best passers for sure.
Things have gotten complicated. His numbers in 2022 were still good, 4,739 yards, 25 touchdowns, but not quite as efficient. And they lost a heartbreaker to Jacksonville in the first round of the playoffs.
Niggas blew
then
a 28-point
injuries limited him
lead.
to just 13 games in 2023, and his
He's not better than
2024
Baker
season
either.
felt like a
I'm
step
taking
back
Baker.
from those first 2 years.
Baker is
The
tough.
one bright spot, though, his 0.6% interception rate was the best in the league. This guy almost never threw a pick.
23-3.
Until the playoffs, anyway. See, here's the weird.
I would be honest, how I feel about this whole interception to touchdown ratio thing is when niggas be having like 20 touchdowns to 2 interceptions. I'm sorry, that's not valid to me because that just tells me that y'all were a run first team. Y'all were definitely a run first team, or you were so conservative in your game that you're nowhere near like Pat Mahomes to me. I feel like if you play like that, it never screams Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady or Peyton Manning type or Drew Brees type season. It just feels to me like you're a game manager when your interception to touchdown ratio is like that. Is he better than my guy Bryce? It's hard to say yes and it's hard to say no because Bryce is just now actually getting some talent around him. But I would have to say as of this very moment, yes. As of this very moment, I would say he is.
Weird part about Herbert. His stats look great, but his record does not.
I think Bryce will end up being better than Justin Herbert.
0-2 in the playoffs.
But
his most recent playoff game against the Texans was
as of right now, Justin is better than
4 interceptions
Bryce
and a brutal
Caleb.
40.9 passer rating. So how does a guy who's so careful with the ball all regular season fall apart at the end like that? Jim Harbaugh clearly believes in Herbert's potential. I mean, the other day he was saying that he woke up in the middle of the night thinking about how to get him into the Hall of Fame. The raw talent is obviously there, but Herbert needs that playoff success to join that top tier of quarterbacks.
Also, yeah, that'd be a lot of these things. These niggas break down in the playoffs. Like, these niggas don't have that it factor to get them past the first round of the playoffs. And that's one thing I feel like CJ Stroud definitely has that. Young quarterback, Jaden Daniels has that. I'll be honest. If Caleb can work on getting the ball out and not being Superman on every single play, if Caleb can work on not being Superman every single play and get out of thinking that he's back at USC, he will be a really good fucking quarterback. He will be so fucking good. So fucking good. I think Lamar, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I feel like Lamar's biggest problem is he makes that one mistake every game and it fucks up the whole game. When they played the Bills, that first interception fucked up the whole game. Because after that and before that, this nigga was playing lights out. That one interception ruined the game. Outside of his like sophomore year, his first year starting. It was just, I believe that was just him being bad his first year. Other than that, he hasn't had no top receivers. He hasn't had no veterans around him. Like, were they a good team? They were a decent team. But he finally got some decent talent around him. And he played really fucking good these past couple years. It's just one mistake he makes a game and it just alters the entire game.
Think back to Stafford's time with the Lions or Andrew Luck's career with the Colts. Incredible quarterback talent, but
like
he held back by issues within the organization.
Like Lamar plays like we're playing Madden, bro. He plays like how I play college football, bro.
Maybe next season finally takes Herbert from really good to truly great, but it's not going to be easy to make it out of the AFC. Now, everybody loves talking about quarterbacks on draft day, but sometimes the real difference makers are the big guys up front. Derrick Brown is the perfect example, a guy who's been doing a great job for Carolina without getting the attention that he really deserves. At Auburn, Brown was a force. His senior season earned him All-American honors with 55 tackles, 4 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 4 passes knocked down. You just don't normally see many 320-pound defensive tackles who can impact the game in so many different ways. Carolina grabbed him 7th overall, and right away he stabilized their defensive line. His rookie numbers, they weren't mind-blowing. 34 tackles, 2 sacks, 12 quarterback hits. But what jumped out was how quickly he adjusted to NFL-level blocking. What I really like about Brown's career so far is how he just keeps getting better every single season. It all came together in 2023 when he made his first Pro Bowl appearance with an absolutely ridiculous 103 tackle season, along with 2 sacks and an interception. That tackle number, by the way, it broke the all-time NFL record for a defensive lineman in a single season.
That's insane. 103 tackles?
The anchor of that
yeah, he has to be tough as hell.
I haven't seen anybody do that to
I think I've heard of this dude.
He just threw him on the ground, took Kamara, swung around. It's unbelievable.
But this nigga got to be tough as hell.
Delivered the heartbreaker. Brown suffered a severe knee injury in the season opener and missed the entire year. For a Panthers defense that was already struggling, losing Brown was devastating. They ended up having the worst rushing defense in the league by a long shot. Now we're all wondering, can Brown bounce back from this and return to being one of the NFL's best interior defenders? Bryce Young certainly hopes so.
Oh my God, Isaiah Simmons. Oh my God, niggas don't know about this nigga, man. This nigga at Clemson? Bro, I remember watching this nigga at Clemson, bro. And I thought he was finna transform the NFL simply because he was one of them hybrid motherfuckers you could put damn near anywhere on the field, bro. This nigga could play safety. He could play linebacker. I thought you could put this nigga as an edge rusher, bro. I thought you could put this nigga as an edge rusher, bro.
Some guys just can't seem to stay healthy, and others struggle with a
Kyler Murray, a top 50 QB. Like, you talking about all time or like right now in the league?
That seems to be Isaiah Simmons' issue right now. At Clemson, this dude was every defensive coordinator's dream player. He started off as a safety before eventually moving to linebacker during his final year, where he racked up 103 tackles, 7 sacks, and 3 interceptions on his way to All-American honors. NFL scouts couldn't stop talking about how this guy could do everything from covering tight ends to blitzing quarterbacks.
I've never really had a guy quite like him.
This guy plays everywhere on the football field.
I firmly believe that I've never seen a linebacker like this. I've never seen a linebacker like this before. He was a safety. I feel like he should have went back to playing safety. I feel like he could have been a Kyle Hamilton type safety because he's big as fuck and he's fast as fuck too. But he's physical too. Him? No, I don't think he went to jail.
Crazy
I think he was just getting
crazy
injured.
Athleticism, versatility.
I think he was just getting injured. That was his issue.
Okay, here we go.
The Cardinals took him 8th overall, dreaming about a defensive weapon they could move all over the field. And his rookie year wasn't terrible. 54 tackles, 2 sacks, and an interception.
I see the issue. He had that number 48 on. That's the biggest issue right there. Why the fuck do you got 48 on? That's a dirty ass number. Who do you think you are?
In 16 games, starting in 7 of them. His second season looked like maybe the light bulb was turning on. Simmons piled up 105 tackles, picked off a pass, and forced 4 fumbles. Even so, he wasn't fully clicking though. And after one more year in Arizona, they'd seen
Number 9 looked a whole
the
lot
Cardinals
better.
shipped him to the Giants before the 2023 season, but the new surroundings, they didn't help. His 2024 season in New York was rough. He appeared in all 17 games, but started in just one and only made 21 tackles all year long.
Damn.
That's practically invisible for a former top 10 pick. And now he's heading to Green Bay in 2025. The Packers are hoping those athletic traits might finally translate into consistent production. But let's be real. At this point, nobody's expecting the superstar that they thought they were going to get on draft day. Simmons is basically the perfect example of why being a jack of all trades but master of none can actually hurt you a lot in the NFL. The question right now
I feel like that was one of the biggest things. That's why I said I feel like he was going to transition or transform the NFL because he could do everything. But that sucks because he can do everything. It's like, where do you put him for real? Because you want to put him all over the field. It's kind of like a Travis Hunter situation. Well, I mean, he's just 2 solidified positions. But this nigga could be 3. He could be like, he could have been a safety. This nigga could have been a edge rusher. This nigga could have been a linebacker. It was just, I just feel like he didn't have no suited role in football, and that's partially what's holding him
finally
down.
Figure out how to use such a unique athlete effectively.
CJ Henderson, went up the running back.
If you thought Simmons was a disappointment, CJ Henderson's career path makes him look like a success story.
Was that the cornerback?
Comparison. Henderson's NFL journey is basically what teams fear the most when drafting cornerbacks high. At Florida, Henderson showed serious playmaking ability across 3 seasons. His freshman season in 2017 was especially eye-catching, 4 interceptions with 2 returned for touchdowns. That big play potential right there convinced the Jaguars to draft him 9th overall. And after the first game, he was looking like an amazing choice with 5 tackles, 3 pass breakups, and a pick against the Colts. The trouble is that the rest of the year did not look like that at all. He played just 8 games before going on IR, and most of the time played nothing like a top 10 pick when he was on the field. The Jags bailed on Henderson insanely fast, shipping him to Carolina during his 2nd year. Things didn't get much better with the
getting
Panthers
traded
either.
just
The
after your
2022
first year
season
is
showed
insane
small
to
signs
me.
of improvement with
That
58
shit fucked
tackles
up, bro.
and 2 interceptions, but the good plays were constantly overshadowed by his coverage mistakes. When Carolina declined his 5th-year option, that told you everything that you needed to know. The 2024 season was even sadder. Henderson bounced from Houston's practice squad, where he eventually got cut, to Pittsburgh's practice squad, where he eventually made the active roster but couldn't get on the field. What makes Henderson's situation extra painful is watching those other cornerbacks from this draft class develop into solid starters while he can barely hang on to a spot on the roster. Just goes to show.
That nigga showed Jeff Okudah. I feel like it is hard to learn a new system, and that's what kind of like fucks people up, is because even like how they talk about quarterbacks now, they don't give quarterbacks time to learn a system and progress and develop. They do the same thing with everybody, bro. I feel like they move on way too fast between like cornerbacks and this person and that person, no matter what it is. They move too fast because you have rookies that come in and are so good off rip. They don't give the other motherfuckers time to just develop and learn and give them a real chance. You have one chance only. And if we see you make one mistake, you're cooked. I feel like that's a big issue with the NFL too.
Show you that getting drafted high gets your foot in the door.
Everybody has to be a star year one.
That you're going to stick
and it
around.
sucks. Jedrick Wills.
Okay, so we've had injuries, bad scheme fits, and technical issues, but our last top 10 pick from 2020 could be the most frustrating case of them all. A player with all the talent in the world who just doesn't seem to care at all.
With the 10th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft, Cleveland Browns select Jedrick Wills, tackle, Alabama.
After 3 solid years at Alabama's offensive line factory, the Browns took Wills 10th overall.
I think their G League is the Canadian League and the USFL. I think that's what the G League is, in my opinion.
Protect Baker Mayfield.
Because you rarely see people
his rookie year looked
come
promising.
from
He started 15
the G League,
games
but
and
you
showed
see
off
enough,
all the
though.
skills that made him such a highly rated prospect. His 2nd season, he missed some time, but in 2022, he was back to being a reliable starter on Cleveland's O-line.
I was gonna say, I remember this
Then
nigga. He was tough.
2023 happened, and everything
Like this
changed.
is
Wills
when
played just
the
8
Browns
games
had a
before
really
an
good
MCL
offensive
injury
line.
in Week 9 put him on IR. Injuries happen in football, that's just part of the game, but his return in 2024 was when the real red flags started popping up. Injury stopped him from playing until week 3. Then on October 27th, he decided to make a business decision and sit out the game against the Ravens because of that lingering knee issue. Soon after this, he was benched and didn't play a single snap from week 11 through the end of the year. In total, Wills only played 5 games last season. 4 really when you factor in that week 9 was only 2 snaps. Then when you watch the film from those games, what jumps out the most isn't the mistakes or the physical limitations, it's the lack of effort. It's almost like he's not really trying to be out there at all. On key downs, he looked completely checked out, just going through the motions instead of battling with the intensity that you need to survive in the NFL. The Browns' decision to let Wills walk after his rookie deal tells you everything about how they view him. Think about it. Quality offensive linemen are among the hardest positions to fill in the entire league.
Yeah.
Yet Cleveland took one look at their former first-round pick and said, no thank you. Now Wills is heading into 2025 without a team, which is pretty rare for a recent top 10
crazy,
pick.
bro. I feel like that shit is crazy because I feel like he definitely could have been a whole lot better than what. I feel like he should have been what Tristan Wirfs is. That's who he reminds me of. I feel like he should have been who Tristan Wirfs is.
So there's the top 10 for you, but what's really got to be painful for some of these teams who whiffed is just how many legit stars were still around to be picked. Patrick Queen went 28th to Baltimore and immediately showed that he could fly all over the field. He made second-team All-Pro in 2023, then headed to Pittsburgh where he racked up 129 tackles in 2024. At pick 45, Antoine Winfield Jr. has been a monster at safety when he's been healthy. In 2023, he made All-Pro first team with 122 tackles, 3 interceptions, and led the league with 6 forced fumbles. When he's on the field, he is a complete game changer.
Who would you say is the top guy at the safety position right now?
Who got the best line in the NFL? The Eagles. Oh, without a doubt. Eagles, 1,000%. Eagles have the best line. There's no question, debate about it, man. There's no debate. But I feel like, I ain't gonna lie, a lot of these niggas, issue with them is I feel like a lot of them just don't care. Not even that they got their money, but I feel like they fell out of love with the game and they just don't care anymore, which sucks because like I feel like a lot of them be having a lot of crazy potential and shit, and they could be Hall of Famers like Chase Young and the Jedrick Wills and even the Henderson guy. I feel like they could have been really good, but like when niggas just fall out of love with the game because they already got their money and shit, they feel like they set for life, man. It really sucks because I feel like a lot of times they show you like who really just wanted to go where they went off of like talent and shit and not off the thrive of just wanting to be great.